The story I'm about to tell you starts way back in 1905 in the Irish city of Cork. That's where we meet our main character, a British soldier named Percy Fawcett. The whole thing kicks off at a hunting contest where a bunch of soldiers are competing. Percy, with his incredible shooting skills, totally nails it and wins. Everyone's impressed, but that same night, at a party celebrating the victory, you hear the whispers. Percy's there with his wife, but even though he's super talented, he's never won a military medal. People were murmuring that he was a good soldier, yes, but his family's scandal was holding him back. See, his father was a notorious drunk and gambler, and that shadow stretched over the whole family. Hearing those whispers, Percy makes a silent vow. He will restore his family's honor. That's why this journey he's about to take isn't just a mission, it becomes a personal fight to win back respect. Fast forward to 1906. Percy gets called to London and meets with Sir George Goldie, a high-ranking official in the Royal Geographical Society, RGS. Sir George gives him a huge offer. Percy needs to map the jungles of Bolivia. They tell him a huge part of the Amazon is completely uncharted, a blank space on the map. And this place. It was full of rubber trees, a massive source of wealth back then. But there was a big problem. Bolivia and Brazil were on the brink of war over the border. They needed Britain to step in and decide, or things would explode. Sir George offers Percy this unbelievably dangerous job, mapping these unknown territories. Percy, craving a big name, first asks for a more famous mission, something that would give him glory right away. It's clear how deep his hunger for fame and a new identity runs. But Sir George insists this is no ordinary mission. He warns Percy, the weather is brutal, there are deadly diseases, and tribes that are most definitely not friendly. He promises, though, that if Percy succeeds, he will earn immense respect. Percy goes home and tells his wife. She's completely supportive, knowing this is their chance to build a better life. He tells her, "When I return, you might not even recognize me, but I have to go." She simply replies, "I know." In April 1906, Percy sets off on his perilous journey to the Amazon. On the ship, he meets Henry Costin, who will be his partner on this mission. Percy is immediately annoyed. They travel for a week, and Henry hasn't said a word. Henry finally explains he was simply observing Percy, trying to figure out if he was truly ready for the hardships ahead. Percy is completely honest, telling Henry that this is more than a job. It's a battle for his name and his future. He says it right out loud. "My honor is staked entirely on the success of this mission." Their orders change. They need to map the Acre River, right in the disputed Brazil-Bolivia border region. The river is deep in the thick jungle, and they'll start near a rubber plantation called Fenda Jacobina. By July 1906, Percy and his team reach eastern Bolivia, an area absolutely no one had ever mapped before. They arrive at the Fenda Jacobina Opera House and meet a young soldier named Manly. Manly hands them a message from the Border Commission: abort the mission. But Percy won't back down. He tells Manly to send a reply: "We will proceed." He then asks Manly to find him local guides. This is a huge turning point. Percy, the stiff British officer, is now reliant on the very people he likely underestimated, the local tribes and their knowledge. Manly explains the only way to get a guide is to buy an Indian slave from the plantation owner, a man known as the Baron. When Percy arrives, the Baron's men warn them, anyone who goes into that jungle never comes back. They spot a German boat, but don't even get a chance to talk before they are suddenly attacked by local warriors. Arrows fly everywhere, and one of Percy's men is shot and falls into the river. Percy and the others jump in to escape, but the river is infested with vicious piranhas. They narrowly escape being eaten, only to get caught in a net. They somehow break free and save their lives. Despite the horrors, they press on. They stop to rest, but things only get worse. Manly develops a high fever and is vomiting blood. Another companion's hand is horribly infected. Percy asks the guide how much further the destination is. The guide says, "Weeks more." But then the guide starts telling them terrifying stories. This place has golden rubber, and somewhere deep inside the jungle is an ancient city, older than England itself. He admits these are just tribal legends. Percy doesn't believe him. Maybe he's afraid that if he does, he'll end up like the other delusional explorers who became laughingstocks. That night, Percy asks Henry Costin to read his wife's letter aloud, because he doesn't have the strength to read it himself. The letter says his wife and children moved to Devon and that he has a new son named Brian. A wave of guilt washes over Percy for abandoning his family. He burns the letter. The journey continues, but their food is gone. Starvation sets in, and one of his men starts to go mad. They're convinced they won't survive. After weeks of grueling effort, Percy and his team finally reach the upper part of the river, an area no white explorer had ever reached. Their guide immediately runs away. But Percy had anticipated this. The guide's job was done. They have to push deeper into the forest. They hunt a wild boar, which becomes their only food for the return trip. It's during this trek that Percy finds broken pieces of ancient pottery in the jungle. A doubt creeps into his mind. Maybe the guide's stories were true. It was clear that people had lived here before, even if the area was unknown to the outside world. This is the major turning point for Percy. He's no longer just an explorer, he becomes a true believer and a visionary. He's convinced an ancient city really does exist deep inside the jungle. The mission is now his personal, spiritual dream. Percy returns home a hero. He's hailed as England's bravest explorer. Percy tells him they must respect and protect the Amazonian tribes. Murray suggests, why don't we forget the border mapping and go find that lost city? This suggestion sets the story on a new path, though ironically, Murray will become Percy's greatest burden. But it reignites his passion to find the city of Z. Percy and Murray agree to keep the mission's true purpose a secret to protect the local tribes. In February 1911, Percy presents his findings to the RGS. He declares that the Amazon is not just a dense jungle, but that a lost civilization is hidden inside, and that they might be the ancestors of the current tribes. People are stunned. Many believe Percy is chasing old false tales that killed many explorers before him. He says if they find this city, it will change human history. He shows them the pottery shards and an old document his wife found at Trinity College. A 1753 paper written by a Portuguese soldier mentioning a mysterious city. People laugh and call him mad. That's when James Murray challenges him. If you truly believe, then go back and find it. Percy accepts. We will go and we will prove it. He says the area is too unsafe for women and she must care for their children. In May 1912, Percy begins a new, dangerous expedition. This time, he is joined by Henry Coston, Manley, James Murray, and the rest of their team. He finds his bag too heavy and starts angrily throwing necessary supplies away. Suddenly, a local tribe attacks them. It's Percy's first time facing such a direct threat. He immediately orders his team, "Don't fight." To calm the attackers, Percy begins singing "Soldiers of the Queen" while Manley plays a tune on his instrument. Slowly, the tribe's anger fades. Percy cautiously approaches and explains they mean no harm. The chief accepts their peace and lets them stay as guests. But Murray, finding out this tribe is rumored to be cannibalistic, panics and leaves the group. Percy and his team stay and learn a great deal from the tribe. Percy asks the chief about the lost city. The chief says he's only heard the stories, but can't say if they're true. He advises them to go further up the river for more information. The tribe teaches them how to fish and farm without destroying the jungle. Percy is humbled. He realizes that the people civilized society calls savages are actually living in harmony with nature, possessing skills outsiders can't even comprehend. He finally understands that these people are truly the custodians of the jungle. The journey continues, and Percy's team finds Murray lying on the jungle floor. He's incredibly weak and has eaten all of their remaining food supply alone. Percy is enraged. "My own children are more reliable than you." This is a huge setback. His entire meticulously planned mission is falling apart. Things get worse when they travel down a fast-moving river on a raft. Percy strictly warns Murray not to move, but Murray carelessly shifts, and a basket of food falls into the water. Then the raft hits a huge rock. Manley falls into the water, and Percy tells him to swim to the shore. A moment later, Murray also falls in, but instead of swimming, he clings desperately to the raft, destabilizing it even more. Percy shouts in frustration, "Let go, you fool!" The chaos has cost them 2 baskets of food. Percy is furious with Murray. His actions are making a bad situation worse, and now Murray is getting sicker and starts blaming Percy. Their pace slows to a crawl because of Murray's condition. After a long discussion, the team decides that sending Murray back is the only option. Percy maps out a route for him and arranges for him to be taken to a mining camp south of the river. Percy gives Murray his last horse, extra food, and a local guide to ensure his safety. Percy explains that his poor health is risking the lives of the whole team, but instead of saying thank you, Murray accuses Percy, saying, "You don't care about me or this team." They now have virtually nothing left to eat. They are forced to abandon the mission and turn back. Percy keeps trying to convince the team not to give up so soon, but their food stock wasn't enough for even one more week. Percy finally makes the difficult decision to end the journey. When Percy returns home, he finds his wife has given birth to their third child, a beautiful daughter named Joan. Percy is deeply grateful to his wife for managing the entire family in his absence. A few days later, Percy and his team attend an RGS meeting where Murray is also present. Murray publicly accuses Percy of abandoning him in the jungle. Percy defends himself, stating he provided Murray with ample supplies and that the decision was necessary for the team's safety. Murray angrily claims the whole trip was a waste, that they only spent time with savages and found no proof of the lost city. Henry, unable to take it anymore, shouts out and accuses Murray of destroying their food supply. Murray tries to prove his innocence and accuses Henry and Manley of lying. Henry snaps, saying, "We should have left him to die in the jungle." The director has to intervene to calm the room. Murray insists that Percy apologize publicly, even to his wife, but Percy refuses. He says he did everything he could for Murray, giving him a horse and extra food, even when the rest of the team wanted to leave him. Despite this, Murray keeps demanding an apology. "Apologize to me now." After the meeting, Percy resigns from the RGS. When he gets home, his wife tells him that Murray has sent his name to the War Office. This means Percy will have to go to war. His son, Jack, is furious. He accuses Percy of always leaving them. "You just came back from a failed expedition, and now you're going to war," he shouts. "Do you ever think about us? What about your responsibility to Mom and the family?" In a moment of high emotion, Percy slaps Jack. His wife comforts Jack, assuring him that everything Percy does is for their good. 2 years later, Percy is on the front line with his army. They hear news that Murray went on an Arctic expedition with a Canadian team and deserted halfway through. Percy and his comrades are convinced that Murray is a coward. One day, a female prophet from Russia visits their camp. Everyone is eager to hear what she will say about Major Percy. She tells him that the place he is looking for is far greater than he can imagine. She says his soul will not find peace until he finds that place. It is his destiny. On September 26, 1916, Percy and his soldiers prepare to attack the enemy. Percy rallies them, "Fight bravely for your families and your comrades." But in the fighting, Percy is shot. He survives, but his eye is severely damaged. The doctor tells him he'll live, but further exploration will be too dangerous. Percy is heartbroken. Finding the lost city was his life's dream. In 1923, Percy retires from the army. A journalist visits him and asks what he's doing now. Percy says he's living a normal life. The journalist tells him that his Amazon journey has inspired a new wave of exploration in America. Dr. Chersht. Hamilton Rice is preparing an expedition to Brazil with modern technology like radio and airplanes. Percy listens silently and only says, "I hope these people respect whatever they find and don't harm it." He seems to realize that the true meaning is respect, not conquest. One day, Jack is practicing shooting, hunting rabbits. Percy approaches him and gives him a necklace he received from the Green Tribe. Jack asks his father, "Do you still believe in the lost city?" Percy doesn't answer, just smiles and nods gently. Jack says, "I want to go with you to find that city." Percy refuses, saying the journey is too dangerous and he's too old. But Jack is insistent. "If we go together, we'll find it in one trip." He adds, "If the Americans get there, they'll destroy everything with their weapons. We have to stop them and save the city." In Jack's passion, Percy sees his own reflection. He tells her the truth about the danger, but then he reminds her of the advice she always gave him. Life must be lived outside your comfort zone. Hearing her own words used against her, she falls silent and says, "You've used my own words against me. How can I say no?" She finally agrees to let Jack go with his father. Percy asks his old friend Henry to join them, but Henry politely refuses. He says he can't leave his wife and children, nor can he afford such a costly trip. Percy thinks Henry has lost faith in the lost city, but Henry explains, "I don't doubt the city. I just wonder, even if we find it, will it truly give us the answers we hope for?" The RGS agrees to fund the mission. The head of the society even apologizes for not trusting Percy during the whole Murray dispute. At the event, Percy shows the media the compass he's kept for 20 years. He says, "When we reach Z, this will be the symbol of our victory." In April 1925, Percy and Jack enter the Amazon jungles. Percy shows Jack an old plantation, and they push forward. They reach a local tribe's village. The people tell them of a cave no outsider has ever seen, and a large rock with carvings of humans and horses. They believe this might be the way to the city. Percy and Jack are warmly welcomed. Percy is convinced that all humans are connected by a single ancestor. After resting, they continue their journey. Deep inside the jungle, they encounter a hostile tribe and have to run for their lives. After a long chase, they find another tribe that saves them and takes them to their village, where special rituals are performed for them. As they travel deeper, Jack begins to get scared. He feels they will both die there. But Percy reassures him, "Son, the world is full of mysteries. Even if we don't find all the answers, this journey has already given our lives new meaning." They decide to follow the advice of the tribes from now on. They tell her that a Brazilian man claimed to have seen Percy and Jack alive, living with a local tribe. But the RGS director says they should probably accept that they will never come back. However, the Brazilian man gives her one thing, the compass that Percy always kept with him. Seeing it, his wife is left to wonder, did Percy and Jack really find the lost city and simply choose to stay there? The story ends here, but there is a major revelation. For nearly 100 years, people mocked Percy's belief. But later, archaeologists discovered evidence of ancient roads, bridges, and extensive farming in the Amazon jungle. And one of those places was exactly where Percy had said it would be. Perhaps that is the lost city of Z.